So, welcome everyone to our Animal Bonds talk. Jamie and I are going to talk a little bit about social media today, right, Jamie?
Yes. What a fun topic, right?
This is not my wheelhouse. I don't even pretend like it's my wheelhouse because I don't like social media, but I do know what works and doesn't work. The reason I don't do social media is I'm a firm believer in you should focus on what your wheelhouse is. So if you're really good at social media, you should focus on social
On
media.
social.
I'm not, I don't know how you feel you are, Jamie, about it.
No, it's not anything that brings me joy.
Right.
So it's I would not say it's my wheelhouse and it's not anything I enjoy doing. So it's always a struggle to do social media.
It is. And with social media, I feel like it's kind of a love-hate relationship because we get caught up in the dopamine of social media, but the dopamine is kind of a fallacy. It's like you can have, I know one person I follow, Denise Duffield Thomas, she has 90,000 people, right? 90,000 people. Hey, Beth, welcome. 90,000 people is a lot of people, but her posts only get about, 300 to 500 likes, sometimes less than that. So does that mean that, and I'm going to put some people on mute here. Does that mean that she should stop be doing social media because she doesn't have as many likes? Like she doesn't have 10% likes, like, 900 would be 10%. Or 9,000 would be 10%, sorry. So should she stop? No, because social media gets your brand, it gets your name out there, it brings people into you. But like we were saying, if that's not your wheelhouse, then find somebody else to do it for you. Now, if you find somebody else to do it for you, that doesn't mean you relinquish all control. So Jamie and I have a VA in the Philippines that helps us with our posts. She creates the post, she does the graphics for it. All we do is just give her, here is either a quote or here is something that you can post. Here's the topics for our meetings, but we don't do the social media because, again, like Jamie said, that's not in our wheelhouse and it's not what she loves to do and it's not what I love to do. And in fact, when Jamie and I first came together, I said I will not do social media because it is not my love. And you have to really look at that when you look at your business. If you're a solopreneur, what do you love to do? Do you love to write? If you're a prolific writer, then focus on your email content because email is still the best way to get clients and get followers. And also, guess what? With your email list, you own that list. We've talked about this before. Social media, you don't own the list. So you could have a really strong, vibrant social media following, and then let's say somebody copies you. I know that happened to, gosh, who did that happen to recently? It was somebody kind of big, and they completely copied what they were doing, and they acted like they had, so people were going to this other dummy account, and this other person was losing her followers, right? Because of this dummy account. Now, thankfully, Facebook finally took the dummy account down, but that's a fight. And that doesn't always happen. And if you lose your followers, you can't get them back. So sometimes you have to like rebrand yourself or rename. I'm in the cannabis space. So we had our social media was booming. It was like 4 years ago. And Instagram shut us down and they didn't give us any reason why. They just shut us down. And you can't talk to anybody. So you can try and put in a complaint, put in an appeal, do all these things. It's really you're at their mercy. So if you're a prolific writer, or even if you're not a prolific writer and you just love to write, I know Kelly's not here today, but Kelly doesn't love to write, but she does a really good job on her newsletters, and that brings her joy to get her message out to people. And with AI, you can really start to hone in your message, right? So if you want to get your message out and you're struggling, you're like, I don't know what to write, use AI, use Chat GPT, but make sure that when you do that, you're giving it the right parameters. So right, so like if you want, oh, I'm going to put Diane just joined. I'm just going to put her on mute. if you have to say to Chat GPT, this is what I'm about, right? So I'm an animal lover. I provide meditation services. Um, I need a post. Give me 10 ideas about meditating with animals, right? And it'll give you, and you can say, do it in a professional tone, do it in a casual tone, do it in a business casual tone. And then it'll give you 10 ideas and you can go, yeah, those are not right, along those same lines, maybe more towards this. And so you can really start refine it just as you would an assistant, right? So if you have an assistant that can write, then you could, that's what you would be saying to her. So don't be afraid to use Chat GPT for your ideas, because then you can go in and add your own flair, or you can take what they said. I did this with a testimonial I wrote recently. I was like not liking my testimonial, so I asked it to rewrite it like 4 times, and then I was able to take certain sentences out of each and make a really nice testimonial for something. So don't be afraid to use Chat GPT if you want to get your message out. Like, let's say you really like social media, but you don't know what to say, use Chat GPT for that purpose. But if you're a prolific writer, I say lean towards email. And the reason for that being is recently on HubSpot, which is like a social media scheduler, they said according to data published by themselves, they're a CRM and marketing automation platform. Email marketing is 40 times more effective than Facebook and Twitter when it comes to customer acquisition, thanks to its versatility and targeting capability. So remember that when you are trying to decide the best way to reach your audience, and you can do a combination of both. But remember, if there's only one of you, if you don't have help, focus on what brings you the best return. So if email is bringing you the best return, focus on that. That doesn't mean you don't have to do social media. You can decide, like, I think, Jamie, don't we do quotes certain days of the week?
Yes, I can't remember which day it is. I think it's Thursday maybe. But we have certain quotes and it's every day, the same day every week.
Right. And you can do that. And the great thing about that is we don't do like every Thursday go, oh, what quote are we going to do? We batch them. So, once a month, you sit down and you say, okay, I'm going to have 5 quotes or 4 quotes. These are going to be my quotes. Or maybe you batch, more than that. Maybe you do 6 months, maybe you do a year, so that you pull all your quotes so that you have that. And now you can give it to a VA, or you can create, just a plain graphic. I know Denise Duffield Thomas, and I'm going to use her as an example because she's a great marketer, but she'll have a certain background for her quotes, right? So every quote has a blue background and a certain font. And that's a great way for people to know that's your quote, that's your look, right? Branding's really important with your look because you want people to know that quote is from you immediately. So pick a really nice color that you like that goes with your brand, pick a nice font that you like, and then use that for your quotes. And that's an easy way for you to get that out. Also, candid photos do really, really well on social media, on Instagram and on Facebook. So, candid photos of you with friends, or you with animals, or just even animals doing something really fun. Candid photos do really, really well. So, put those up. And then with Facebook, you can put a lot more information. With Instagram, you just have the photo and then you put your information on inside on the post. With Twitter, you're really limited to what you can write. But with Twitter, I know that people have more success sometimes with sales. It just takes a little bit longer to get a following with Twitter. I know that. So sticking with Instagram and Facebook, especially if your audience is older, if your audience is like more towards 40s, 50s, 60s, Facebook is going to be what you want to concentrate on. If it's a little bit younger, if you're targeting towards Gen Zs and millennials, you want to use even the Gen Xers, use Instagram. If Gen Z is your audience, you got to go to TikTok, right? And so we're not going to talk about TikTok because none of us are Gen Zers here, but well, maybe Beth is, but TikTok is a thing, and that leads me to video. Video is really big. So if you like to get your message out, but you don't like to write, do vlogs, do YouTube, and don't worry about the numbers of people that listen. What's most important, or the number of people that like your post, or the number of people that engage with you. Don't rate your success by those metrics, because people see your post. They may not like it, they may not comment, but they see your post. The number one important thing you have to do is be consistent. So don't decide every Thursday I'm going to do a quote and then go, yeah, this Thursday I don't really feel like that. No, every Thursday do a quote. And the reason that works is, and I don't know if any of you do this or if you follow certain people, if they don't do a post on a Thursday of a certain type, or a Monday, like, we were doing videos on Mondays, or if they're not talking about their classes on a certain day, you say, oh, I wonder if something's wrong. And then if they continue not to be consistent, you kind of lose faith and lose track of them, because it's like, well, I don't know when they're going to post. So, it's, if I see it, great. But when you're really consistent, people look for you. They go, oh yeah, I know that recently I follow this guy. He's really great with business advice. And he always, Thursday morning, first thing in the morning, he sends out an email. Last Thursday he didn't. And that was the first time in, I've only been following for maybe about 4 months. It was the first time he did it. And I was like, oh, whoa, I wonder what's wrong. So we'll see this Thursday if he comes back and explains why, or maybe he's going to change things up. But it's good to be consistent, because people get used to you. And they may not even, like, I don't respond to his emails, but I look forward to his emails. So again, don't this isn't a popularity contest, right? This is business. Don't say, oh, my success depends on how many followers I get. So Denise Duffield Thomas, she has 90,000 people following her, right? It's not a huge amount, but I know in her private Facebook group, which is only her customers, right? Her customers that pay $2,000 for her program. She has 7,000 people in there, and they're engaged. So, when you look at somebody's social media, don't say, oh, well, they must not be very good, or they must not be very popular, because when you look at how many likes they have in accordance to, in a relationship to how many followers they have, it doesn't add up. Sometimes it's less than 1%. And you think, God, less than 1%, that's horrible. It's not. It doesn't mean anything. It means that people see you over and over and over and over. And then if they're on your mailing list, they see you and then they buy what you're selling, or they buy into like your free gift, or they follow you. And a lot of times you have followers for a couple years before they actually buy. So the biggest takeaway from all of this is make sure you're consistent. And before I get into hacks, I want to open it up to Jamie and anybody else who wants to comment on that.
Yeah, and the only thing I would add to that, consistency is the important thing, that you do it and let go of the outcome.
Yeah.
Don't worry if people are liking it. Don't worry about any of that. Just like, okay, it's on there. All right, now I move on to the next thing. Just let go of the outcome of that.
Yeah, it's not a popularity contest, even though it seems like it is, because we get that dopamine rush when, oh my gosh, how many times have you like posted something about your birthday or something, and you get 100 people like it, and you go, oh my gosh, I'm so great, I'm so popular, everybody loves me. We can't get addicted to that. We're going to have that, but we're also going to have those times where you put out something really prolific. And this has happened to me. I'm thinking, oh my God, this is my best post ever. And then literally like 2 people see it and like it, or it's really funny. And you think, oh my gosh, this is so great. And 2 people see it and like it. That's because Facebook is just horrible, or Instagram is horrible, right? And we can't figure out these stupid algorithms. But one thing we do know about Facebook: don't put a link in your post. Put your link in the comments. And if you can, do a subversion to the link. So if Facebook has caught on that people are putting links in, right, to the comments. So if you put a link to your website, then maybe put a link to your Instagram account for the next one. Like, divert people in different ways so that they're still getting that same link to buy or purchase, or to your link tree, whatever that is, something, so that Facebook doesn't punish you, because they are catching on to that. We always have to stay ahead of the game. And it's tiring. It's tiring. Social media is tiring. And another thing, and I said I'm going to open it up, and I just want to say this really fast. Don't compare yourself to other people. Don't go on other people's and say, oh my God, everybody loves her. She might have a really good engagement on social media because, she puts a lot of time into it, but it doesn't translate to sales. It doesn't translate to business. So just know that this is just a way to get your faith and your message out there, but it has nothing to do with your value. It has nothing to do with how busy you are or how successful you are. It's just another metric. So I want to open it up before we get into some hacks, and then we'll talk a little bit more about email too. And so you can just either unmute yourself, or you can raise your hand, or you can just whatever you want. And so gonna wait. Surely someone has a question.
Questions,
Yes,
comments. Oh,
Beth.
good.
Yay, good.
It's not a question, but I got told by it was like somebody doing the search or like the social media for a company that I worked for, like a shop, and they were like, don't post anything until 5, like just after 5. There was like a time like 5 p.m. that's like really good at catching people's attention. I don't know if that's still a thing because it was a few years ago, but yeah.
It is a thing. It is a thing. I'm so glad you brought that up because it is a thing. So what you can do is you can see when your best engagement is, right? What time did that post go out and what's your best engagement? Or somebody you follow. What is there? When does it look like, study their account. What do they post that gets the most likes? What time do they post? So if you have an international following, maybe posting at 7 a.m. US time isn't your best time, or maybe posting at 3 p.m. or 5 p.m. US time isn't the best time because it's the middle of the night for people in the UK and Europe. So, and same with so Beth, like it reversed for you guys, right? So if you're posting it at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, it may not be the best time in America. So just know those things because I know they used to say like Wednesdays at 11 a.m. And so then what has happened? Everybody posts Wednesday at 11 a.m. It's not really helpful, is it? So just like look and see what people who are really big are doing because those people spend a lot of money. They have a lot of help. They have experts that are guiding them on what to do and when to post. So for us, I think we post at a certain time. I mean, we're not really, social media isn't our thing, even though we have somebody doing it. We're not really that concerned about social media, especially for animal Reiki. I just don't think that people like the pictures of the animals, which is great. But since we have limited resources and limited time, we don't really put a lot into that. So we just kind of are consistent. Yeah, go ahead, Maud, please.
I am a QHHT practitioner, which is from Dolores Cannon, quantum healing practitioner. You do day workshops with an individual, and it's just a standalone thing you do with the clients. And it's an American system. I get all my customers through the internet, but main reason is that they built such a huge imperium on Facebook and Instagram, and it's so big that if I would have like personal Facebook page or Instagram, that I would get so much traction on my website that I could not cope with it. So for us, it's really important that you from the animal Reiki and the animal bonds just continue on doing your social media, because it makes it way easier for us to bring the animal Reiki out, get it more spread out, more well known.
That's a really good point because you're sharing posts and you're talking about the post, or maybe you're just reposting something or something like that, right? And I thank you so much for saying that because that is true. Again, it goes back to consistency. So we don't have to put a lot of time and effort into that. I know Kathleen puts a little bit more time and effort into hers, but at least the information is accessible and out there. And
Yeah.
I love that you said that, because like classes, just do a post about your class, but don't use the same photo. And I'll share my screen, and Maud, still stay unmuted because I want to continue this with you. So I just want to share the screen for a minute. Here's my notes. I want to show you something. Oh, here we go. So here's Kathleen's, and this is not to pick on Kathleen at all, but so you can see when she did her empath, she very first did, she got 101 likes for her empath workshop. And then she did it again, she got 40, again, she got 33, again, she got 11. This one, this one, she did a little bit higher than her original one, 38, that one's to say. I would recommend you change the picture. You don't want your Instagram, because your Instagram is like a magazine. And it's like you're seeing the same ad over and over and over again. But I like what Maud said, change the picture. Just, you can have all the same information, but change the picture so that people go, oh, maybe this picture they're not resonating with. So they don't really catch what this is, because we're very visual, right? And I don't know, Maud, if you want to say something about that.
Yeah, I think it's great content to use for all of us working with Animal Reiki
Mm-hmm.
and share.
Yeah, exactly. And just, you know, you could share about Kathleen's class maybe, and then just use a different picture. But you can
Yeah.
see, like, we can go through here and go, oh, what is her most popular site? Let's see how many followers she has. Okay, so she has 5,500, not a lot. So that's why she doesn't have as many likes. But this one got a lot. There's a lot of empaths, I would think, out there. She doesn't get a lot of comments, but that doesn't mean she's not popular. And it goes with what Maud's saying. People see it. Oh, so people like her videos when she shares. You could tell that. Here's a candid, right? The little video of the beach. People really like that. Another one, people really like that. It's easy to see what people are resonating to. So let's go over here to Denise. Denise, you can tell here, she does some candid photos. She's got 90,000 though. So, you know, her number's a little bit higher, but that's low for how many she has. So you can see her quotes. They always look the same. She's selling right now she's selling a program, so that's a little bit more about her sales. But again, you can see that her candid. So, oh, she got a lot of likes on her candid photo of her out at a conference. So look at, if you have your own feed, look to see what's popular and kind of go off of that. Here's a candid one, but it didn't get that many likes. Oh, here's, you know, she's giving information, valuable information. So she gets a lot of likes, a lot of comments. Amanda Gorman, that quote got a lot of likes. Let's see here. This is a candid. So you could just kind of go through your people and see, you know, what do people like? They really like, this is a testimonial about a class that she's selling. So people really responded to that, and they responded to this video, really liking it. They probably found value in it. People on Instagram, they listen to it, they find value, they like it. So just be mindful of that. And I'm going to stop sharing here. And look to that for guidance. But thank you, Maud, for saying that. You know, like, again, it goes back to like what Maud's saying. You might not get a bunch of likes, but people are looking at it. They see it. They learn about you. They learn about your business. Now they know who you are, and you're sharing the information about Animal Reiki. So if we're all doing it about Animal Reiki and we're all reaching a certain number of people, and we're probably all reaching different people, it becomes more popular, more normalized, more talked about. And I love that. Thank you, Maud. I appreciate that. So does anyone else have comments or questions?
I do,
Diane,
but
yeah,
I couldn't raise my hand. I don't know, my mobile
that's okay.
app
No,
not
no
working
worries.
great, but it was so interesting. I shared on Instagram from Sarah, one of the posts that you guys put out for one of my vlogs. And
Okay.
today I got a message from someone who was like, "Hey, I want to set up an animal Reiki appointment." And I was like, "Oh my God." That was like my first one from Instagram.
Nice.
Yeah, I was really excited. And a couple days ago, somebody else from Facebook had messaged me and said, I really am interested in having, an animal Reiki session with my dogs. And so it was like, wow, I hit two totally different people, both who live in my area, which was great. And so I was really happy with that. But my question is, what happens when you get like sometimes I get some really negative comments, and I hate blocking people per se, but sometimes they're just so off and like, how could you charge for this? What's
Mhm.
wrong with you, for charging for, and
Yeah.
actually, some of them, I often say, well, I do it by donation and they can donate directly to the rescue. But that's like my biggest pet peeve with social media is like
Mhm.
the comments.
Yeah, that's a really, thank you for bringing that up, because we don't get that in email, right? Email is,
Right.
people don't really like to respond negatively. So there's a couple things. For Jamie and I, we're lucky we have Trisha. And again, she's from the Philippines. We only have to pay, I think it's $5.50 or $6 an hour. She might be up to now, which sounds really low. And there's people who are like, oh, you should pay her more. But for her in her country, that's a lot actually. For someone as young as she is, with as little experience she has, she's actually doing really well. But we don't have to see those. We can tell her to block the person. We can tell her to delete the comment. So we don't ever really have to deal with that. But if you don't have Trisha, you have to ask yourself, how important is it that this person follow you? If it's not important, you just block them, and that's okay. You can say too, hey, I'm going to have to block you because this is really negative, and that's not what my site is about. I really caution against getting into a back and forth, because people are set in their ways. They have things they want to say, they have things they want to get out, and they'll just get into this with you. So you don't want to give them something to bounce off of. You just want to be open and say, this is what I'm about. I'm coming from a loving, compassionate place. And, I send you love and compassion. And that's it. And if, you can try that at first. And if they come back at you negatively, just say, I'm really sorry. I'm going to have to block you from my site. And that's only because we don't really want negativity here. And that's okay to say that. It's okay to block people. You don't really want people like that following you. They're never going to want what you have anyway. It's just another way for them to get out their frustration, their anger, their dissatisfaction with their own life. I know that we have had people say certain things on Sarah, and we just haven't commented. Sometimes we leave it up, fine. If it's not really horrible bad, we leave it up. We just don't comment. I know that there is a little too bad Kelly's not here, because it was the Little Red Barn. And Missy, the owner, she was shearing she shears her sheep, and she sells the yarn um to people, and they make scarves. And someone wrote to her and said, that's horrible, you're making money off your animals, blah 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 blah, right? Well, two things. One is, sheep have to be sheared, because if they're not, their coat gets way heavy, it weighs them down, it's dangerous, they get diseases, parasites, so it has to be sheared. Number two, all the money that she runs a rescue like you do, Diane, and so all the money she makes goes to the rescue directly. She's not making money, and it costs a lot of money to feed and care for animals. And when you have a whole little farm like you do, Diane, and like Missy does at the Little Red Barn, you have to find ways to bring in attention and money. And that was the way Missy did it. But this person was a vegan, had a problem with it. That's not right. You're using your animals as like slave labor, right? Well, she's not. So you just have to ask yourself, sometimes criticism comes from a place where it's like maybe something you need to hear. Like, oh, you're always really preachy on your your post, let's say. And you have to kind of look and go, wow, am I really preachy on my post? Maybe I am a little preachy. Maybe I really need to look at that. So criticism when it comes at you isn't really necessarily a bad thing, especially when you're in your practice. When you're really grounded, you can hear negative comments and say, is this something I need to hear? Or is this something this person is struggling with and they're having a problem? Either they're really frustrated or they're angry or whatever that is. And then you can decide from there, do I want to block them? Do I want to show them compassion? Or, how do I want to handle this? And you can ask yourself that and get an answer in a calm way. But if you get really upset, oh my God, how can this person say, you can't hear what's being shared? And it's not necessarily, it's never an attack on you anyway. That's your perception, but you don't have to take it that way. I know that Kathleen, she commented on the woman was doing Reiki. She had a little video of this, and if you follow Kathleen, you've probably heard this story. There was a little baby blind sheep. She might have been blind and deaf, but she was definitely blind. And she was a baby. And it's a little lamb. And she was against a wall. And the lady was hovering over her doing Reiki. And then you could tell the lamb was really frightened. So Kathleen said, another way you could do that is to sit back and your energy will still go, oh no, my angels told me to do it this way. So Kathleen had a choice. She could argue with the woman, that's wrong, or she could just let it go, and that's kind of what you've got to decide for yourself. Do you want to make this a thing, or can you see that this person's not going to listen to you anyway and just let it go and send them love and compassion and know that they will one day look at what they've said or did and maybe have it with a more critical eye and say, oh, I shouldn't have done that. We never know when people feel bad for what they say to us. We never, unless they're a good friend, we never get an apology, and that's okay. So don't get caught up in the negativity. There's always going to be haters. There's always going to be people that cause problems. If you do a private Facebook group, you're going to have issues, no matter how clear your instructions are, how clear your rules are about no negativity. Guess what? You're going to get negativity. And you have to be careful for trolls, because there are people out there. I know on Quora, they get that a lot. And on the Animal Reiki Healing Source, this one lady, she put a post about her sick cat, and the sick cat was super ill, but she only wanted Reiki. She didn't want to hear any vet advice. She didn't want anything else. And it upset a bunch of people. And it was kind of like, this sounds like a troll, because of the way she wrote it. So Kathleen just deleted the post because we got a couple complaints. And you can do that too. You have agency over your social media. So Jamie, I don't know if you want to say something too about that.
No, I'm just glad you brought up the troll thing, because so there is a lot of that, and people just, that means nothing to them. They're just trolls, and they go on and they make comments that they want to get some kind of interaction going, a negative interaction. And when I've had a few negative things, and I just figure they're trolls, even on my personal page, and so I just either hide them so I can't see their comments, or block them. I don't, it doesn't bother me a bit. It's like, okay, I don't even know who you are. I don't know if you're a troll. I don't know. So
because we only want to invite love and light into our world, right? And when we're in our practice, we can really see when people are injured and just reaching out. And a lot of times trolls are just people who are very unhappy, very dissatisfied with life, and want to attack. And a lot of times they're people who want to get a rise out of you. So here you are, this peaceful, calm person on your social media, but are you really? Let's see how peaceful you really are. Let's attack you. So just being mindful of that. And thank you so much for bringing that up, Diane. You don't have to feed into that. And I would actually encourage you never to feed into that, to always just delete, because you don't want to say, oh, I couldn't be on social media anymore because people were just coming on there. Most of the time.
Yeah, I agree.
90% of the time, don't you think that people are really nice and caring and loving? And then, you get a few outliers that will come in.
Yeah,
But-
and you don't want to give them your power. I had a class where there was a veterinarian in it, and I asked her, what's going on with vets and the high rate of suicide, what's happening to them? And she said, I believe it's social media. She said, because people go on and they put us down, and we're caring and we're compassionate people. And, and so then all the negative comments come, and it can just really be too much for them. And, in that case, like, that's when you definitely pay the money to have a social media person, and you never look at it
Mhm.
because they can take care of that. Because that's, there's just people out there that, like you said, they're going to hurt other people, or they're just trolls. And I don't know if they make money off it or what, but there's obviously they're getting something out of it. They like to stir that up. And so I think we have to be careful with social media, and just remember that there's people out there that just want to hurt, and they don't
Mhm.
care about the consequences. So, find a way, if it's whether you have someone who does your social media, if you just like, oh, there's a negative comment, I'm just going to hide it, or I'm going to block it, and don't feel guilty about it, because we don't need to feel guilty for not allowing negativity into our space.
Well, and it's our mental health too, right? We know
Right.
social media isn't great for your mental health. We know this. It's been documented, and it's in studies. We know social media isn't good for our mental health, which is why don't go on social media and scroll. It's a rabbit hole. What you do is you have your days, section out your days. Like every Monday, maybe that's the day you post. And so you do your post on Monday, or if you have to, if you can't afford a schedule, or maybe you post every morning, but you post at your certain time, get on, get off, right? And I know that there's some cheaper ways to post for you so that you're on and you're off. A lot of entrepreneurs, they stay away from social media because of that time suck. So just tell yourself, I'm going on and posting it, and I'm getting right off. Don't worry about anything. And maybe on Thursdays, that's when you go through and you decide you're going to comment. Just stay on your post, comment, get off. If you find yourself going off, go, nope, bring yourself back, do what you have to do, then get off. Make sure you're scheduling so that you have a certain time, set a timer, 30 minutes. That way, when that timer goes off, you have to get off social media. It's a really good way to protect yourself for time management, but it's also a really good way to protect yourself for your mental health, right? You don't want to be on. And if you want to be on there for an hour, whatever that is, just set a timer. Because trust me, you set an hour on social media, 2 hours are going to go by, and you're going to go, oh my gosh, how could I be on here for 2 hours? Because it's easy. I watch Dodo videos, and then I shared last week Noodles the Pooch. Oh my God, I could watch Noodles for hours. She is so freaking cute. I love her so much. I can't even handle it. I just love her so much. I'm so thankful to that, the mom and dad who did that for her. But but I get sucked into it. So you just got to be really careful. Just go on and go off. And if you're posting to YouTube, don't worry how many people see your videos. What's more important is that consistency, because you have to start somewhere. And so if you start today, think in 2 years from now how much content you'll have. And you can reuse that content. You can repost that content. You can title that content. And even like, like let's say you posted something a year ago, you can go, oh, well, I have a little bit different view, but I'm going to take that, and now I'm just going to revamp it a little, right? One hack that social media today says to do is go through a year's worth of your posts, pick the top 3, and then repost them. Maybe do a different picture, but repost them, because you're going to have new followers, new people, and they're going to want to hear what you have to say. So don't feel like you can't go back and redo what you've already done. Same with blogs, same with email topics. I mean, we've talked about social media before, but we're talking about it again because it's a newer audience. There's more that's come out about social media. Social media changes all the time, and maybe your content changes too. So I'm going to open it up before we get to a couple more hacks. I want to open it up and see if anyone has anything more to say about that. And again, you can just unmute and start talking if you aren't on screen, or you can raise your hand.
Hi there. This is Anne.
Hi, Anne.
Hi, nice to see you guys.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, thank you for doing this. This is interesting. I really hadn't given a lot of thought to social media. And I didn't even know you could actually hire. So I'm very naive, let's just say that. I didn't even realize that you could hire someone else to do it for you. I had thought that I had to wear that jacket myself.
No.
So
Yeah,
that's good
no.
to
Yeah. So did you have a question? Because I can comment on that further if you want.
um what was I going to say? There was something that came up just what was your last comment? Because it was hooked to that.
Oh, I was going to get into some hacks. It was about reposting.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was going to ask you, so you know how sometimes people have these really brilliant posts that say, have these lines and it resonates with me, and sometimes I'll take a screenshot and keep them. Sometimes they have who put the quote there.
Mhm.
I mean, off of someone else's Facebook or Instagram content. Can I reuse those? And how
Yeah,
does that work?
as long as you
Yeah.
give credit to where you got it, it's always about getting credit. So if they used a quote, but if it's a quote from a famous person, you could just reuse the quote, change the background and everything so you're not copying them, but
Okay.
just reuse the quote. But if it's something that they said, then you just use a quote with their name on it. I know that I did a video one time. It was peanut butter on the head, where you get your dog to lick the peanut butter off your head so you can clip their nails. So my
Yeah.
one big pit bull, who's really slow, we tease that he talks like this because he's a great big boy. He did it, but my little Mika, she wouldn't do it. But anyway, I gave credit to the girl on Instagram that I saw doing it. So I said, I'm doing this video, but I saw this from, and I named her name. Always giving credit, because it's always good to give credit. There's room at the table for everybody, so you don't ever have
Sure.
to take somebody. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Do I
yeah.
have to ask them first? Like go to them and ask them, hey, I like
If it's a
this.
quote, no. I mean, you
No.
could if you want, but it's a quote. I mean, they might like to hear that you're going to share their stuff. But if it's a quote and you're quoting them, you can tag them in it. You can share the quote, tag them in it. Because that's another good thing. You brought up a really good point. Tag people, right? They have followers. So if you, like, let's say, and you are doing Oprah Winfrey, and it's an Oprah Winfrey quote, and you hashtag Oprah Winfrey, hashtag, Soul Sunday or whatever that is, then it's going to come up in people's feed that follow Oprah and Soul Sunday. So
Yeah.
it's really good to put those hashtags in there. I think Facebook, you can only put 2 hashtags. Instagram, 11 hashtags is the sweet spot. But I would always just check that, because social media changes all the time. That's why we do kind of general information. But yeah, for
Mhm.
you, if there's something you find and you like, or let's say it's a picture that somebody's posted and you really like it, DM them and say, hey, I would love to share this and give you full credit. Do you mind? And see what they have to say.
Okay. That's what I thought I would do, but I just
Yeah.
wanted to check to see, how that all works and what the options are. Thank you.
Always give credit. You can't go wrong if you give credit. You just always give credit. And so you had said something, oh my gosh, what was your first comment? And then I totally lost my train of thought now.
Just that I
Right.
didn't know you could hire people to do your own social media, because
Oh
it is
yeah.
stuck in
Yeah.
it, and it just is energy that I don't resonate with, but I know it's necessary. So I just didn't even
Absolutely.
know, like I said, I'm really super new at this and I
Yeah.
haven't stepped into it at all. So
So they have job sites that you can get virtual assistants, and you really kind of have to do some work. I went on Online Jobs PH, which is the Philippine um, equivalent of a job search. And you have to be really careful when you do an ad for a social media person in another country. Like, I think India has their version of Online Jobs PH. But what you do is, because you're going to get like hundreds of people, you get it really clear. Use Chat GPT for your social media. Write me a job posting for a social media assistant, and then you can go through that, right? I love Chat GPT. I'm going to be selling this to everybody all the time because AI is here. And so let's learn how to use it. But anyway, so you would go on there, you would do that, but you would say, respond to me with the word pink elephant, or the subject line pink elephant, or the subject line I'm awesome, or whatever that subject line is that you want. And that will weed out almost 2/3 of the people that responded to your ad. So
How
if you're
come?
interested, please respond. And so you might get like 100 people interested, or you'll see that there's 100 people interacting on it. But when you say that and they have to send one, and that means when you get responses, you know immediately, because it's in your job posting. If you respond to me, you have to say pink elephant, let's say. And that way you go through all your messages and you delete anything that doesn't say pink elephant in the subject, because those people can't follow instructions. And then to further eliminate those people, you say, send me 2 examples of what you would do for a social media post, and you can make it specific to you if you want. And I would make it like kind of generally specific to you. They're going to need some you're going to oh sorry. I'll put online jobs PH in here. Oh, and I didn't see
Liza
Liza's
had a question.
wait, well, I'll get to Liza in just one sec, Liza. So online jobs PH is the Philippine one. And we love our Philippine assistants. We have Ali and we have Trisha. And so then you say, send me 2 examples of, like, let's say dogs with people and a caption. And then you can weed out ones that don't speak good English, but also you give them a deadline. You say, respond to this by June 5th. And then that weeds them out. And you'd be shocked, out of like 300 people that responded to your ad, you've narrowed it down to probably only 10. And out of those 10, now it's much more manageable, right? And that's a hack, because if you don't do those things, you're going to be answering ads and it's going to take you forever to find the right person, because your time is valuable. And so then what you do is, out of those 10, you like what their posts are, then you give them a little project and you give them the disclaimer that if your project is good, I'm actually going to use it. And you can even pay them $5 if you don't hire them. So that's what I did when I was hiring my assistant, Ali. I had everybody do a job for me, and I had, I think, 10 people, and I paid them $5 to do it. And that way, the people who did it, they weren't out anything by doing it, right? They got $5, they got paid to do the little project. For them, that's an hour's worth of work. That was pretty good. So you can do that, as if you feel guilty that they're doing something and you're not reimbursing them, or they did something really good, but you just found somebody better that you want to hire, pay the ones that you really like their work. And then you can ask, oh, do you mind if I use this? And they can tell you yes or no. But that's kind of a hack. And they're really super cheap. They're anywhere from $5 to $10 an hour. You can't find someone in the United States for that cheap. But again, be mindful, the ones that speak perfect English are going to be more money. Also, you make sure you give them a project, because I had one, she spoke perfect English. She was really engaging and fun, but she was really bad. I hired her because of the fact that she spoke really good English, and I should have looked more at her work. And one of the ladies that was way better at the work, at the research than she was, couldn't speak very good English. And so she was my first hire, and I made a huge mistake. So sometimes they speak really good English online, in their communication, but they don't speak good English when they're talking to you. So when you're interviewing them on Zoom, you might think, oh, I don't know. But if they're speaking to you perfectly through typing, don't let their English, their verbal English, deter you from giving them a chance. Because Ali speaks fairly good English, but she's not perfect, and you can tell in her emails. And that's okay, because I don't need her to speak perfect English for what I need her to do. But also, what I was going to say is, in a long roundabout way, is that be prepared to spend a few hours training them, right? They got to learn who you are, what your voice is. You're going to have to kind of spend that initial investment to get them to have your brand, to have your look that you're looking for. And if you get somebody new, you can grow together, right? You get ideas from them. You can tell them, hey, you can give them an example. This is what I want my look to look like. Like, let's say you go to Marie Forleo's site. Oh, I like her site. I like her font. Can you find me a font that's like this? Can you find me some color patterns? And then have them do that research for you. And that saves you time. And so now you can go, oh, I love this. Let's use this font. Let's use this color pattern. And now let's find some free stock photos that would go with that. So Jamie and I, with Trisha, she does our newsletter for us, right? She sets it up and everything. She finds the photos, she does the graphics. We say, find us a photo of a woman with a dog, and then she'll find it. So Jamie, I don't know if you want to piggyback on any of that.
No, I had something, but I forgot what it was. So no.
Hopefully it'll come back. Yeah,
Yeah.
Maud, yes.
Did you mention earlier like a website where you combine all your posts, like on Facebook, Instagram, and you schedule them?
Yeah, you can do HubSpot. Hootsuite is one. I know there's others.
If you
Hootsuite.
have a business account on Facebook, you can do it right on Facebook and schedule for Facebook and Instagram as well.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, thanks.
Does that
and then I'll
cost
put
money?
that-
No, not
Or is
on Facebook.
Yeah.
HubSpot, I think, does.
Oh yeah, they
Yeah.
charge a lot. So does Hootsuite. They charge a lot. And then I'll put free here so everybody knows. And so be sure to save the chat. You know how to do that. You just, if you can't really save it on your phone, sorry. We'll put the chat in the note for the meeting on YouTube. But we'll send those. Those are for scheduling. And then Online Jobs PH. And so, yeah, and so, you know, if you want to talk further about that, you can reach out to me. I'm happy to have a call to kind of help guide you on that. It's social media is a big hit. If you know, but like Maud said, we all need it. We all need to have our face out there. So if you need helps with the Online Jobs PH, just reach out directly, because I know we're kind of coming to time here, and I want to get to Liza's question. So thank you so
Great.
much for that, Anne, and so glad to see you here again.
Thank you. Thank you.
So Liza, you started using hashtags and did not realize there was a limit. Yes. So you know what? Just Google what is the let's see, what is the best number of hashtags to use on Instagram? Facebook, I believe it's only 2. They just have a limit. But on Instagram, you know, because I think we were using at one point for my cannabis company like 30 hashtags, and we found out that's not the best way to go about it. And you want to have a more targeted audience too. So go there and just Google how many. And the last that we heard, which was in the last year, it was 11. But that could change. You know, again, social media, that's the whole thing about it. It's constantly changing. So I wanted to just, Kelly Louise, I don't know if you can unmute and say hi. I didn't know if you have any questions. It's a small group today, so I'd love to give you a chance to just say hi if you're available. And if not, no worries. If you can't unmute, not a problem. Sometimes we listen to these at work or when we're in groups and things, and I know that. Or sometimes I listen in when I'm to live Zoom calls when I'm at the airport, and there's no way you can unmute because all you hear is da 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 da. Oh, here she is. Great. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Thank you
So
so
I'm
much for doing
actually,
this. Mhm,
yeah, thank you for doing this. I'm super new to the group and this is my first time
mhm.
in one of these calls, so it's
Yeah.
been valuable and I'm super appreciative. I'm just taking it all in.
Oh, good. Good, good, good. Yeah. Nice. So did you have a
Yeah.
question or anything, or you're just taking it all in?
Yeah, no questions. So I've actually been like battling social media for years. Like I think I've been doing it since 2012, like
Wow.
blogging, YouTube, selling merch. I had a crystal shop and now like just my spiritual stuff of meditation, Reiki, animal Reiki, like all that. And so since I've like shifted so many times, I just feel like I've experienced all of it of like all
Yeah,
of the struggle.
the struggle's
um
real.
yeah, I guess like what I can say is to consistency,
Mhm,
that really is it because can I can attest to the opposite of not being consistent for
mhm.
sure can absolutely hurt you. I've been hurt by taking breaks like and losing consistency many times. So um hearing you guys kind of like be like strong on that one, I'm like, okay, gotta get it together, gotta be consistent.
You know, and I'm so this is why we love these calls so much, because you don't think you have a lot to offer or you don't want to ask a question, but you just saying everything you did is really gold for this entire meeting, right? Because you you are living that experience of not being consistent, and then hearing you testify that, yeah, I lost people. That's worth everything to this meeting and to people who are going to be listening in, because it is consistency. So thank you so much. So is it Kelly Louise or just Kelly?
Just Kelly's fine.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Kelly, we're so glad you're here with us, though. We
Yes.
hope that you will return, because look at your little gold nugget that you just dropped at the very end of the meeting here. And it really is worth everything. So thank you so much. I'm so happy you're here, and I'm so happy you unmuted yourself.
Aw, you're so welcome, and thank you so much.
All right, so I'm going to get to the hacks really fast. Just the thing is, find a big influencer, like we talked about, a leader that's doing what you want, and then post a few minutes after their post. So if you see like Kathleen post at 10 a.m. on Tuesday, post at like 10:20 on Tuesday. Also, don't post on the hour. Don't post 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 12 p.m. Post at like 11:15, 11:20, 11:25, 11:40. Don't post on the hour. Make your post different so that they show up, because remember, you're competing with a lot of other people. And so if you're always doing it on the hour, guess how many other people are doing it on the hour? And again, if you've been doing your social media for a year, like Kelly's been doing it since 2012, go back and look and see what your most popular posts were, and then repost them. Just put a new picture, put a little new content, or don't put new content, just put a new picture, freshen it up. Or you could even, if it's like, so Kelly has been doing it since 2012, maybe there's a post in 2015, she can take that post and just repost it. She doesn't have to change anything. And then follow the final tip is ignore your followers on your posts. So like, this is weird, right? So you do a post and don't comment or like or anything, anybody's comments, until you do the next post. And I thought this was really interesting information. So try it and get back to us. But so like, let's say you make a post about your classes and you get some comments. Don't comment on it until you make another post and then comment, because the chances, because of the algorithm, people will see your other content, your newest content. So don't comment, make a post, wait until your next post, make your next post, and then go back and comment, like, and make some engagement, right? And always engage with your followers, because they want to hear from you. That's why they're following you. They want to know that you're excited to hear from them. So it's 11:30. I know that we've gone the entire hour. I'm going to turn it over to Jamie, and Jamie is going to do a meditation. So if you have to go, we totally understand. If not, please stay and we will do a wonderful meditation with Jamie. Jamie, do you want music or not?
If you have music,
I do have music.
some nice music,
So
that would be nice.
let me put on some music right now, and then you can tell me if it is too loud. Is
And
that loud enough?
I think that will be okay. Yeah, I think that's okay.
Okay.
Can you still hear me over that?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. Yeah, that's perfect then.
Okay.
All right. So let's all get comfortable. Sit with our spine straight but relaxed, not stiff. Bring your hands into Gaso. Set your intention to connect to this yourself, this beautiful light that resides inside of you. And invite any being that would like to join you, whether it's human, animal. Invite them to step into the space that you're about to create and hold. Now go ahead and place your hands in your lap or by your side, whatever's comfortable for you. And begin by taking a slow, deep breath through your nose and put that all the way down to your belly. And as it fills your belly, it ignites the light that resides inside. And then as you exhale out, this light exhales out into the space around you. Take another slow, deep breath. Pulling it all the way down to the belly, igniting that light. And then exhale out the light. Another slow, deep breath in. Pull it all the way down, igniting that light. Now every cell in your body is illuminated with light as you exhale the light out into the space around you. Let's do 3 more deep breaths. So breathe in. Pull it all the way down to the belly, igniting that light. Now exhale the light. Breathe in, down to the belly, and exhale the light. One more deep breath in, all the way to the belly, igniting the light, and exhale back up. Now allow your breath just to find its natural rhythm. Notice the animal or person or other being that joined you in this space. And just allow them to sit in the space. Feel the connection. Just allow the words I'm about to speak to flow, but don't get attached to them. Just stay in that space, that shared space. And then when you stand where it is quiet, so that you notice when thought ends and listening begins. When listening ends and seeing begins. When a bird flies, when you glide as a blackbird and scream when you start to speak in the clear air, and can speak of nothing but the light as if it were the first light when you cast a shadow on the rock, and say, my shadow stays and the rock passes away, when at this moment it is true that it is good to attempt the entire mission you can call the desert by its name. Stand in the light that resides inside you. And now go ahead and take another deep breath in. This one is a cleansing breath, pulling it all the way down to your belly. And as you exhale, you become aware of your body, your fingers, your toes, the chair you're sitting in. And when you're ready, go ahead and open your big, beautiful eyes and come back to this reality.
Thank you so much, Jamie. That was beautiful. I'm sorry about the music. I had to turn it off because it was
That's
making
all
me
right. Yeah,
cut
I heard
out.
it.
Yeah,
So,
it
that's
started to
okay.
cut out. And so, but that was beautiful. Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone. Thank you, Maud and Beth and Kelly and Liza and Anne and Diane and everybody who listens in at a later date. I know we have Monica, who is in Eastern Europe. And so I want to say hi to her. She has a beautiful blog coming out. So look for that on the Sarah site. And I'm also going to put a link on the Animal Bonds blog too. She has a really beautiful story about a dog at a shelter. So look for that. Thank you all so much. These weeks are so fun. And like I said to Kelly, you know, everybody's voice is important because we all have things that we're going through at different levels to share. And like Anne, you know, she's just starting out. What do you do? Or you have Kelly and she's an expert, right? Or in our opinion, you're an expert, Kelly. And so we have these two different levels, right? And then we have what's in between. And thank you, Beth, for bringing up that point about what time we have to post. So thank you all for contributing, for speaking up, and for sharing and making this another wonderful meeting. And I, in the recap email, I'll put the links for Online Jobs PH, and always reach out to me if you need guidance with that, because I do have lots of experience with hiring VAs from the Philippines, and it's really easy. It's a lot easier than you think, and they can be so helpful. So, all right, everyone, I know we're way past Jamie, thank you again for that beautiful meditation. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye,
Mwah.
everyone. Thank you for being here.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.